and Soul Shop. Today I'm finishing up smoothing in all the welds on this rear end for this custom truck, and we'll be getting it in primer by the end of the day. Just a lot of finger time, man. You sit there and sand all these, molding everything in. It takes a lot of time, a lot of patience. I'll get in here with a belt sander with a rounded end and kind of run over the weld a little bit, or a roll-lock or a burr bit. There's several different things you use to get in there. You want to make sure that you got good metal ground really well so that your filler sticks and everything. And I always just use my finger and I just fill that in with my finger. Sometimes I put a rubber glove over my finger, whatever, but you get in here and just mold all that in, and then like I said, it's just a lot of finger time sitting here sanding and stuff, making them radiuses real smooth. So we'll get it all primed up today. Probably 3 coats of primer. We're going to have to prime the whole thing, then probably 3 coats of urethane primer on it, then sand it, and then have to go back probably again and reprime some of it. It's just a long process, but if you want something slick, that's what you got to do. So Seth and Bobby and I have been working on this frame for about a week, molding in all the welds. We etch primed it. We primed it 1 time so far. We're going to go back and etch prime all the bare metal. We still got a few places we got to finish molding things in, but we're pretty close. We'll get it reprimed and sand it. Hopefully it'll be ready to shoot at that point. So within a couple days we'll be ready to paint this thing. Go ahead. So Daniel's camera just shut off, so he didn't get what I said. I love the applause of the audience. That was hilarious. So being around the body shop, man, there's dust everywhere. It's hard to keep anything clean, and so I just wanted you to see the barn find that we found. LOL. So our super secret mechanic and I have been tackling the rear end in this 65 F100, putting a 4-bar setup under it. One of the things that I love to do is just fabricating pieces, making things. So obviously we bought the 4-bar kit, but then we had to make brackets and everything to mount all that to this chassis. So we used some thick wall 2x4 tubing, some real heavy gussets, 1/4-inch gussets and stuff, and got this all fabricated and welded up in place. We still got to put our shock mount bar on there and get our coilovers on, and still have to do our panhard bar. Have to mount that. I'm going to have to plate the frame over there and mount all that. But so we're moving on it pretty good. We made good progress in the last 2 days. So when you're doing this, there's a lot of measuring and cross measuring. So you're going to need a tape measure, a degree wheel, a square, a caliper, and a level. And just spend a lot of time measuring and double checking things, because you want that thing in there as square as you can possibly get it. So I think we're there. Like, we've measured and cross measured a bunch of times, and so we're ready to go. So like I said, we'll get the coilovers mounted up, the panhard bar. We got new axles for it. We're going to pull the center chunk out, clean the housing inside, just check everything, make sure it's all good, and reseal everything, and we'll start painting here for too long on this chassis. So also in the past week, Seth has been working on the door jambs, just going around and nitpicking it, trying to get all the spot welds and stuff just kind of smoothed out and cleaning up the edges real good. So we're just about ready to prime it. It's real close. We're going to actually pull the cab off the frame and prime everything. Of course, we'll have to flip it upside down, do the floor underneath and everything, but we're making good progress.
All right, Seth. Hey, Seth, how you doing, bud?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Outstanding. You're doing a great job.
Well, thank you.
And I do believe people below would comment on how good of a job you're doing.
Well, that's awesome. We do our best.
You do. And it's evident. We can tell. Outstanding. 2 thumbs up. Boom. Pound it. There we go. Got it.
Hey guys, welcome to the Body and Soul Shop. Today we're going to continue on filming with this 65 F100. The last time we showed you, we had the 4-bar mounted, but we didn't have the panhard bar or the coilover bar and coilovers mounted yet. So that's all done now. And so our next step is to pull it all back apart. We're going to take the center chunk out of the rear end, clean the rear end housing inside, just double check everything. The gears feel really good, but we're going to double check that, and then we'll reinstall it and get the rear end painted. Then we're going to move on to the frame, get the frame painted, and then we'll start rolling from there. So this truck should start coming together here pretty soon. Okay, so we got the inside of this F100 all primed. We edge primed it, Seth did.
Wave the cap. There you go.
So we went over the floor pans with 80 grit and got it all cleaned up. Everything's ready. So we went ahead and sprayed it with bed liner. That will really preserve the inside of this. Plus it'll give it a little bit of sound deadening. Not a lot, but a little bit. But most of all, preservation, because it'll have carpet over it obviously when it's done. Okay, so in the comments that you guys make, somebody asked me if I would specifically address a little bit paint mixing and paint procedure and stuff like that. So when we're mixing paint, now I know a lot of you guys already know this, so I'm just going over for anybody that doesn't. When we're mixing paint, we use mixed cups that have ratios already on it. Now this particular blue that I'm going to spray is a 2-to-1 ratio, so that means there'll be 2 parts of paint to 1 part of reducer. It's pretty simple. Then just stir it and we strain it, put it in the gun, and we're ready to go. Okay, so I've already sealed these parts that are in the booth. They've been drying about an hour and a half now, and so we're going to go ahead and spray them here in just a few minutes. Okay guys, the next step now is to tack off the pieces that are sealed, and what that does is if there's any dust or any small things that have fallen on it or whatever, this tack rag will pick it up. I'm going to say always try to take care of your health. I just put on an old long sleeve shirt and a sock over my head, paint sock, and then my paint mask. So try to always take care of yourself. It's not healthy to breathe this stuff without having a respirator on, so keep that in mind. One thing you don't want to do is, as much as possible, don't touch where you've tacked or the piece as much as possible. I'm having to hang on to this from the bottom side. I don't want to get fingerprints or any residue from my hands or anything on it. One of the things I do when I'm painting something like this, I'll put an extra wire on it so I can hang on to it, keep it from flopping around so much. So that's what that extra wire is for, something to grab a hold of. Because these things will get to swinging if you don't have something on it to hold it. Should get the edges and everything really good. Okay, we're pretty much ready to go. I'm going to put my old nasty shirt on, my paint sock that's not very pretty, and my respirator. We're going to get busy. Okay, so one of the things I do when I'm hooking this up, I'll take my tack rag and just kind of wipe the hose off so nothing falls off on it. Try to do that. Put this sock on my head, keep the paint stuff from getting in my hair and in my skin. Kind of funny looking thing. A lot of people are real sticklers on air pressure and stuff like that, and I am, but I'm not. I've shot so many cars over the years. I mean, I've been doing this 43 years. I kind of know what feels right to me. So I know that sounds maybe not so professional or whatever, but it's worked for me for many years. So I'll just kind of get the pressure that feels right, and we'll go for it. Medium coat, so you'll still see gray through it a little bit, just a tinge. So when you see that, that's just first coat. So we're going to give this about 15 minutes to flash off, and then we'll come in and put the second coat on. We'll probably do 3 coats. We're going to let this flash for a little while, and then we'll get after it.
What's up, Seth?
Good afternoon.
How you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good, good. Give me a skirt. What's going on? You want to be on film?
No.
All right, cool. Too late.
Okay, so we need a little bit of strapping to put on our support bracket on the panhard bar. It's just about a 3.5-inch piece just to keep it stabilized so it doesn't tilt at all. When we weld that in, it'll really stiffen it up. So I'm going to cut a piece out of this and we're going to weld it in there. Okay, obviously there's several ways that you can cut this. It's pretty thick stuff. You could do it with a cut-off wheel if you wanted to, but I use them all, but the Sawzall in this case is what I'm using. It's a little bit warm. Friction, they say.
Quiet on the set!
Haven't you read the door? Knock, please. Oh,
Goodness gracious.
ah,
Look at that. Just
still hot.
smoking and joking over there. Like, we ain't doing nothing.
Still hot.
It's a professional set. All right, go ahead, Paul. I'm so sorry about that.
Okay, so right down here, see how this is open? We're just going to put this little gusset in there, this little piece of strapping. We'll weld it in there. It's still hot, believe it or not, from friction. So we'll weld that in there, and that'll just give it a little bit more stability so it can't rock back and forth. Done. Okay, so we're switching things up a little bit. Originally, we were going to metal flake this truck, and after a couple of lengthy conversations with the owner, we decided to go with a rival blue. It's an old Cadillac Escalade blue, and we're still going to do the white scallops on it, but we decided to change it and not flake it, just go with the straight blue. That way, if we ever have to get back in it for any reason, it's easier to take care of. Flaking, it would be beautiful. It's a whole lot of work and a whole lot of materials. And of course, we all know materials have went through the roof right now, unfortunately. So it's not so cheap anymore. So that's the reason we switched it up, and it's going to look gorgeous. I can't wait to see it done.
It's not something you can just flake on, can you?
No.
Okay.
Okay, round two. I'm going to tack everything off. Again, the base coat's dry. We gave it about 15 minutes, so I'm going to tack it, and then we'll start the second shot. Just in case it's got any particles or anything on it, this really helps keep your paint job clean. We're not pushing on it hard, we're just lightly dusting over it. Round three, and then we'll go to a couple coats of clear. Normally we put 3 coats of clear. We're probably going to just do 2 today, so we can lightly wet sand it, because we're going to put scallops on this thing on several of the panels. So that's why we're only going to do that, and then we'll build that with more clear after we put the white scallops on it. Okay, guys, we're ready to clear coat this. We put 3 coats of base on it. I'm probably going to just do 2 coats of clear, maybe 3. I'll determine that when I get there. But like I said before, we'll put the clear on, we'll wet sand it, lay out scallops, paint all that stuff, and then clear coat over it again. So I just need a base there, so I'm not breaking into the blue when I put the scallops on. So here we go, first coat of clear. Round one, clear coat. Looks good. It's really going to come out great. I think we're good. It's a lot of work, guys. Pretty hot today, and I'm sweaty and soaked, but it's all good. It's turning out great. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. Hope you hit the like and subscribe button. And my thought for the day is integrity is what you have when nobody's looking. God bless.
Feel it. Yeah.